Let me tell you something that's going to sting a little bit. The reason you're not rich yet has nothing to do with the economy. It has nothing to do with your parents. The reason you're not rich is because you haven't decided to become rich. Not really. Not in the way that actually matters. I know that sounds harsh. There's this invisible gap that exists between where you are right now and where you want to be. I call it the performance gap. Most people's journey to wealth looks like absolute chaos. They're jumping around, trying this, trying that, going up for a bit, crashing down, starting over. Someone who becomes a millionaire in their 50s. Their path looks cleaner, more deliberate. They make steady progress over decades. Eventually, they get there. My path was different. I became a millionaire in my 20s. And before you think I'm some kind of genius or that I had some unfair advantage, let me be crystal clear. I wasn't particularly talented. I wasn't exceptionally smart. I had no university degree, no qualifications, no trust fund, no safety net whatsoever. What I did have was desperation. After getting absolutely demolished by my first boss, who made my life miserable, I quit the traditional career path entirely. I made myself a promise that day. I would become wealthy as fast as humanly possible, no matter what it took. Here's the truth that most people never grasp. The amount of money you make is always directly proportional to the amount of value you provide to other people. Put simply, the bigger the problems you can solve for people, the more money you'll make. And the faster you'll close that gap between broke and wealthy. So let's start with something practical right now. I want you to grab a piece of paper. Actually grab it. Don't just keep watching. Draw 3 overlapping circles. A Venn diagram. In the first circle, I want you to write down everything you genuinely enjoy doing. For me, that list includes racing cars, flying planes, traveling to new places, playing golf. Your list will be different. In the second circle, list the things you're actually good at, not what you wish you were good at. What are you genuinely skilled at right now? Maybe you're great at explaining complex ideas simply. Maybe you're incredible at organizing chaos. Maybe you have an eye for design. And here's the most important circle. In the third circle, write down the things people will pay you serious money for. This is where most people completely mess up their entire career. They only look at one of these circles when making decisions about their life. Imagine picking a job just because you love it. Sounds romantic, right? Follow your passion and all that. But if you're stuck making minimum wage, barely surviving, or maybe you're good at something, so you turn it into your job, but you're working yourself into the ground and still not making enough money. Then there's the absolute worst scenario. You pick a career purely because it pays well, but you wake up every single day dreading your life. The real magic happens in the center where all 3 circles overlap. I call this the value zone. This is your sweet spot. I found my value zone early by combining my genuine passion for model helicopters with my skill for building them and the fact that people would pay premium prices. But here's what's critical to understand. The way most people approach business is completely backwards. They're looking for the side hustle first. Now that you understand how to find your value zone, we need to talk about vehicles, the tools that will actually get you to your destination. Quick question. Would you rather have $1 million in assets sitting in your bank account, or would you rather earn $1 million per year? The answer is obviously both, right? You want the $1 million and you want the $1 million income. And to get both, you need 2 completely different vehicles. The first vehicle is for making money. This is your active income vehicle. Think of it like a motorcycle. You're in control, you're driving. Now, you might be wondering why service-based is my favorite when I clearly do products and content too. One word, timing. Your initial side hustle should have the realistic potential to generate around $100,000 a year. That's your first major milestone. When you're just starting out, resources are incredibly tight. You probably have limited money, limited time, limited connections. Service businesses have minimal setup costs. You don't need to buy inventory. You don't need expensive equipment. You can run it from a laptop. Now, let's talk about the second vehicle. This is for investing money, for building passive income. Think of this like the sidecar attached to your motorcycle. People treat investing like it's just another get-rich-quick side hustle. They approach it with desperate energy, constantly checking prices, buying and selling, stressing. Investing isn't about overnight riches. It's not exciting. It's actually pretty boring when you do it right. It's a tool to multiply money. If you invested just $5 a day for 25 years in the S&P 500, your portfolio would be worth over $1 million. Every single market dip since 1950 has eventually been recovered and surpassed. Every single one. The long game works if you have discipline. This strategy has personally made me millions of dollars without me having to actively work for it. I set up automatic investments and just let them run. Here's one of the most damaging lies that fake gurus spread online. They tell you that you need 7 different income streams to be successful. This advice causes people to get completely scattered. They're juggling multiple income sources, trying to maintain social life, trying to keep day job, and they burn out. You have exactly 3 main limited resources in life: money, time, and energy. That's it. Those are your resources, and they're all limited. Make a comprehensive list of everything you currently do: your job, side hustles, social media scrolling, Netflix, going out with friends, gym, hobbies, everything. Now, draw a pie chart and divide it into segments. Use different colors to show money, time, and energy for each activity. Your resources are spread way too thin across way too many things. When you're trying to build serious wealth quickly, you absolutely cannot spread yourself thin. When I was building my first business, I put my head down and worked like an absolute maniac. I was obsessed. I'd lost a huge chunk of my social life. I was out of shape. I hadn't spent quality time with my family in months. Was that healthy? Probably not. But did it make me successful? Without question. I devoted all my resources toward a single business. I went all in. Focus is massively underrated in today's world. I see motivated young people jumping from side hustle to side hustle, chasing whatever looks exciting. Look at your pie chart. Really study it. Ask yourself honestly, what could I eliminate? What could I reduce? What activities could I give up temporarily? If you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. Between you and your dreams are obstacles. Real obstacles. Genuine challenges you need to overcome to transform your dreams into reality. I'm dyslexic, and school was incredibly difficult for me. Teachers constantly labeled me as lazy and stupid. I left with no qualifications. When I entered the workforce, my manager bullied me relentlessly, made my life miserable every single day. These were enormous obstacles. I never allowed those obstacles to become my excuses. I never let them be the reason I gave up. You're probably facing huge obstacles right now too. Maybe you don't have money. Maybe you don't have time. Maybe you don't have the skills yet. If you don't actively work to overcome your obstacles, they transform into excuses. They become the permanent reasons why you can't succeed. I know you can't do it right now, exactly as you are today. But if you could do it, if it was possible, what would you do? Come up with 10 different potential solutions, write them all down, then systematically try those solutions one after another. Now, let's talk about something that will determine whether you make it or not in the long run. The compound effect. Your net worth goes absolutely crazy after you hit $100,000. The biggest reason for that acceleration is compound growth. Compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. The compound effect applies to your knowledge and skills too. And this is where most people completely fail. When people leave school, they stop learning. Think about knowledge like building blocks. These initial blocks represent the basic concepts you learned during your school years. After school, I started working as a carpenter's apprentice. I ran multiple side hustles. These experiences taught me practical real-world skills. Each new skill stacked on top of previous ones. As you expand your knowledge, you start noticing patterns that were invisible before. This is why true wisdom can only come through years of experience. There's no shortcut. You can't download it. You have to live it. By the time you reach my age, every decision you make is supported by decades of accumulated learning. You recognize patterns instantly, but if you never built those foundational blocks, you'll end up with huge, dangerous gaps. Those gaps will cause you to crash and burn. Closing the performance gap is going to be painful. It's going to require sacrifice. It's going to demand more from you than you think you can give. But remember this truth. If you aren't willing to make sacrifices for your dream, then your dream becomes the sacrifice. You're trading your future for your present. And one day, you'll wake up 20 years older, wondering where all the time we
Stay comfortable and stay exactly where you are. Or push through the pain, close that gap, and build the life you actually want. So what's it going to be?